Hey everybody, this is the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, January the 8th, 2024. This is a big week because on Thursday we're going to have a new moon in Capricorn. There's some real favorable energies to help bring in the new year. Really good economically for the world in general. So I'll talk about how Jupiter and Saturn are good for economics. But prior to the new moon, we have a new moon every 4 weeks. And so from the new moon, 2 weeks later to the full moon is a time whatever begun with the new moon comes to a head or culmination with the full moon. And during that third week is the unfolding or bringing closure or culmination with that full moon cycle. And then the fourth week is the last week. And the last week of the new moon cycle is about winding down, wrapping up, bringing closure to whatever begun with the new moon. The point is that the week, about a week, certainly 5 days or so before the new moon, is the energy is winding down. So unless there's some other more powerful planetary events in your horoscope, you don't want to commence any major new projects the week or so, or 5 days or so prior to the new moon, because, as I said, it is a time of letting go, of closure, of winding down. You want to wait until after the new moon. And on the new moon is not the best time to be launching important new projects. So give it a day or so. So between the new moon and the full moon, 2 weeks later, is when the energy is ramping up. It's expanding. Now, I'm bringing all this up because the new moon in Capricorn is on this Thursday, January the 11th. So as we start this week, especially that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's just prior to the new moon. And you just want to be reflecting on what's been going on, maybe thinking and planning more about what's going to happen after the new moon, but it's not time yet to act. Now, there's some other really important planetary events that are happening along with this new moon. So before I get into all of that, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find a direct link that will take you to my website where you can book an astrology reading or inquire about my 2-question offer. All right, let's start with Monday, January the 8th. The moon is in Sagittarius. The moon represents the overall general public response. Sagittarius and the sign and the moon goes through all the 12 signs every 4 weeks. And so the moon in Sag is there and through each sign is there for 2.5 days. So we're starting off Monday, January the 8th, with the emotional public moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's extroverted, it's adventurous, it wants to expand, it wants to travel. And in the late morning, Pacific time, the moon in Sag will align with Venus in Sag. Venus can represent relationships, can certainly be a very social time, but Venus is also very creative energy, and Venus can even be dealing with and triggering finances. So to have this optimistic, expansive Sagittarius moon as we're starting the new work week. Crossing over the Venus, you might be more inspired creatively. If you're trying to get a job or you're trying to do a sales pitch, that moon to the Venus is a very creative time, but Venus is popularity, it's sociable. So whenever you're out there trying to promote yourself, promote your projects, it will be well received. And you may be so much more creatively inspired. And it's also good for a little bit of romance. Mercury is moving through Sagittarius. Mercury, what is on your mind, how you're thinking, how you're processing information. Now it's in Sagittarius, much more adventurous, more optimistic, really wanting to, really go for it. But Mercury will be, throughout Monday, a square, a 90-degree angle of this internal conflict to nebulous Neptune. Mercury is very analytical. Mercury is how you're processing information. But when it's in a tension with Neptune, Neptune represents things that are unfocused. So the mind wants to be very focused, but when it's in tension with Neptune, the mind gets unfocused. You might just finding yourself drifting off in daydreaming. But when you're trying to communicate or when you're trying to understand information, it might get all muddled and confused. So this Mercury and Neptune on Monday, you have to make sure that you're being understood clearly, or that you're really understanding what you're reading and studying and hearing. It is a time when you could be prone to getting misinformation or downright lies, and etc. with that Mercury Neptune. Now, on Tuesday, the 9th, the moon, continuing in outgoing, extroverted Sagittarius, will be void of course. And it will be void of course from 10:25 a.m. Pacific time until 5:33 p.m. Pacific time, at which point the moon goes into Capricorn. Capricorn is more grounding, more organized, more focused, more pragmatic, where that Sagittarius was more of this adventurous kind of energy. Let's take risks and let's go for it. Capricorn, much more conservative. The moon's void, of course. If you're new, you may not have heard this before, but I talk about it usually every week. So when the moon is changing from one sign to the next, like now on Tuesday from Sagittarius to Capricorn, but it's no longer, when it's in Sagittarius, when it's no longer making aspects to other planets in the chart, then the energy is flat because there's no planetary activity. So the energy is unproductive. So when the moon void, of course, it's favorable for reviewing, for reflecting, for meditation, but it's not good to initiate new projects, important new ventures, because if you did a chart for that moment of beginning a new enterprise and the moon is void, of course, the energy is flat and unproductive. Now, even though most of the day from 10:25 a.m. to 5:33 p.m. Pacific time, that void, of course, is as best to just keep doing what you've been doing. Don't introduce anything new. And the sun, and there's a couple of very important planetary events. The sun, that life force is putting a real positive influence called a trine, 120-degree angle, will happen twice a year to each planet. The sun is trining Uranus. Uranus is all this liberating, progressive, thinking out of the box, being open to new ideas, new technology, getting out of the box, trying something all different, exciting, and new. Also, ambitious, assertive Mars will be also very favorable to Saturn. Mars is that goal-oriented, work-oriented. Saturn is this manifestation. Saturn is that discipline to accomplish these work projects. So the Mars to Saturn can accomplish a great deal. And the Sun to Uranus also being open to new ideas. Now this is best, because this is really positive energies, but the moon's void of course, till 5:33 p.m. Pacific time. Use this positive energies to wrap up old business or to continue advancing with old business, but do not yet start anything new until after 5:33 p.m. Pacific time. On Wednesday, the 10th, the moon continues in Capricorn. Well, actually, it went into Capricorn Tuesday, late in the day, 5:33 p.m. Pacific time. So on Wednesday, the 10th, the moon continues in Capricorn, but it's not making any planetary aspects. There aren't any important other planetary events. But the new moon on the 11th means that the day before, the moon is in its darkest phase. And if you try to start something new and important when you're in the darkest phase, the outcome would be unfulfilling or discouraging. But it's just energy, and there's favorable outlets for all kinds of energies. Being in this really dark phase on the 10th can actually be very favorable for doing a lot of introspection, meditation, and maybe just kind of sitting and being quiet to really reflect before we get to the new moon, where you start focusing on these new beginnings. Now, the new moon on the 11th is in Capricorn. Capricorn is very business-oriented, very practical, very realistic, very organized. Capricorn is more focused on the career and the professional. This new moon in Capricorn, which is launching a new 4-week cycle, will be at 20 Capricorn. Liberating, progressive, futuristic Uranus is 19 degrees of Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign compatible with Capricorn, an earth sign. And the degree from the new moon to the Uranus is just off 1 degree. So it's forming a very tight, powerful trine, or a real favorable flow of energies of that new moon, marking some new attention, some new focus on Uranus, innovation, new technology, on doing something original, maybe something completely new and innovative for you. Overall, the first half of January, Jupiter is at 5 degrees of Taurus. On December the 30th is when it went direct after being for 4 months retrograde. So after December the 30th, it's starting to slowly release all of its promises and all of its blessings. And for the first couple of weeks, as it's expanding more and more, it's at 5 degrees of Taurus. By the middle into the third week of January, business pragmatic Saturn will be at 5 degrees of Pisces. Pisces is a water sign, Taurus is an earth sign. These energies between Jupiter and Saturn is forming a sextile, or very positive energies. So, Jupiter brings the promise, the opportunities, the luck, the growth. In harmony with Saturn for the whole world is manifestation, being very practical and disciplined to achieve these opportunities, to accomplish these opportunities. Then on the 11th, with that Jupiter-Saturn being all set up for the beginning of the year, especially the first couple of weeks of the year, now we have the new moon in pragmatic business Capricorn, excellent with Uranus. It's also forming a little wider, but only 5 degrees, of being very favorable to inspiring Neptune at 25 Pisces, as the new moon is 20 Capricorn. So on the 11th, with the Jupiter-Saturn in harmony with the new moon, excellent with Uranus, for most people, or most economics, corporations, this is a good jumping off for the new year to favor a lot of more economic growth and opportunities. The Capricorn will keep you grounded and realistic, but it's opening you up to Uranus, which is thinking out of the box, trying something all new and exciting. On Friday, the 12th, now the moon has moved into Aquarius. When it's in Capricorn, Capricorn is conventional, it's traditional, and Capricorn is more focused on the past, tradition. When the moon moves into Aquarius, and the moon represents the public reactions, the public tone, Aquarius is very innovative, it's very progressive, it's very futuristic. Aquarius is very alternative, trying all new things, where Capricorn is very conventional. Aquarius energy starts to become more unconventional. And on Friday, with now the moon in innovative and progressive and quirky Aquarius, will be in harmony. It's not making, I was looking at something else. The moon in Aquarius on Friday is not making any aspects to other planets. So that emotional need of the moon in Aquarius on a more personal level deals with friendships, group activities. So you might be more inclined going into a Friday night to attend some group organization, some networking, or hanging with friends. Now Mars is going to be very favorable. Well, it's moving into Capricorn. It's in Capricorn once every 2 years, and will be in harmony with Jupiter. Mars in Capricorn is the best sign for ambitious, assertive Mars to be in. It's called its exalted sign. The Capricorn keeps the discipline and the focus to manifest those goals and achievements of Mars. And the Mars on Friday, being so favorable in Capricorn until February, from January the 4th till February the 12th, on Friday the 12th, the Mars in Capricorn will be trining or very favorable with expansive Jupiter. So any kind of work project that's Mars, any type of initiating any kind of new project, new venture, that's the Mars, it's being supported by Jupiter. So it's a very favorable day, and Mercury now it's into the 12th day since it went direct on January the 1st. So this is a really positive day to really start going after and achieving your goals. And it's the day after the new moon. And actually the new moon starts to reorient our focus and our attention. But on the day of the new moon, it is not the best time to take action. It is a time of planting the seeds, thinking about it, preparing. On the 12th, on Friday, this could be a really good, favorable day for business, for enacting a lot of new goals. Saturday, the 13th, the moon in Aquarius goes void of course for most of the day. 1:59 a.m. Pacific time to 7:29 p.m. Pacific time, at which point the moon goes into Pisces for the Saturday night. All that whole day on Saturday with the moon void of course, just don't introduce anything new. That's important. Just stay the course. Keep doing what you've been doing. Stick to your regular routine. And it is very favorable to kind of start reviewing and reflecting on what's been going on with the new year before taking action on when the moon goes into Pisces. On Sunday, the 14th, the moon is making two positive aspects. The moon in Pisces, early morning, 5-6 a.m. Pacific time, will be in harmony with optimistic, lucky, expansive Jupiter. And just after that, from about 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, now the moon's in harmony with Mars. The Jupiter's this optimism, feeling lucky, let's go for it. And the Mars is now you're being motivated, you're active, and all that Pisces energy can be more empathetic, more compassionate, and certainly more creative. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co, that's .co. Until next week, be safe and well.